Star Wars, best place for below average Star Wars.
Hello there, and welcome to the Star Wars Show, a UK-based Star Wars podcast with in-depth discussions with analysis, always sprinkled with a little bit of silliness. I am the Geordie Jedi Pete.
I'm Kat Riesielke.
And I'm Jason Hondo Ling.
And we are back with a brand new episode of Star Wars. This is the last stop before Star Wars Celebration Japan kicks off, which is, of course, the Mecca of Star Wars convention. It obviously runs from the 18th, 19th and 20th of April from Tokyo, Japan. So live streams are probably going to start around 3 a.m. tomorrow morning. So that's 3 a.m. on the 18th here in the UK, which I will not be getting up for because I will have work. But we've got some news to cover. It's sort of the last news that's out there before we start getting all the news of Star Wars Celebration. Kat, how are you doing, and how are you feeling about playing catch-up over the weekend as and when the news breaks from the Mecca of Star Wars conventions?
Oh, I'm really excited to see all of the news from Star Wars Celebration Japan. There is a great lineup of panels. It feels very cozy. It feels very wholesome. There's a lot of fan favorites that we're going to be looking at, Andor, Ahsoka, and I'm hoping that there's going to be some Star Wars publishing news, new comics, new books, and I will be catching up. Definitely not at 3 a.m. Just looking at the highlights. But yes, it's the best way to spend the Easter weekend.
It sure is. It's also WrestleMania weekend. So for me, I've got WrestleMania, 2 nights of WrestleMania, and 3 days of Star Wars Celebration. So, and obviously the adult baby Jesus returns. So a lot is going on. Jason, how excited are you for this weekend? Obviously, 3 days of Star Wars Celebration start tomorrow. Are you excited for catching up all the news? And are you going to be glued to YouTube on the live stream?
I will probably catch up with different bits and pieces over the weekend. I've already been following lots of people and their adventures on social media. It's getting more and more jealous, and if I see another selfie with Dave Filoni, I think I'm going to cry. That it's just something I didn't get to meet him at Celebration in London. And seeing how he seems to be out and about in Japan, I wish I'd gone.
No, it is. It's absolutely awesome. We're going to dive into our first new topics. We have got some celebration topics to talk about, but we're going to talk about Lego to start with. So, Lego and May the 4th is obviously, quite a big deal over the years. Star Wars Day, May the 4th be with you. Lego often have things going on. This year's no different with their tagline, Power the Force. And they've got a brand new wave of 9 Lego sets dropping on May the 1st, I believe, just in time for May the 4th. And they've all been revealed, and we're going to run through them now. So we do have a UCS Jango Fett's Firespray-Class Starship, which is, of course, Slave 1. I do have the UCS Slave 1 from 2015, I think it is. I know Kat does as well. It's a fantastically built set and looks fantastic on the shelf. There's also going to be a Camino training facility action set. It looks like you can, like a play set where you can play with the clones, in their civvy clothes that they wear when they're on Camino, but not in their armor, which is really, really cool. There's also a free keyring. It looks like there is a Lego Star Wars keyring that depicts the Jango Fett Firespray-Class Starship. That is going to be available as a freebie, I believe, while stocks last when you buy the UCS set itself. They are releasing a 700-piece Lego set that just depicts the Star Wars logo in yellow, which does look absolutely awesome. This one's for Jason. They are releasing I'm going to say a UCS chopper. from Star Wars Rebels, obviously. Looks absolutely fantastic. I know you'll be after that. Kat, this one's probably for you. Looks like we're getting the helmet series is continuing. We're finally getting it Kylo Ren. Obviously, just in time for the 10th anniversary of The Force Awakens. But yes, Star Wars Lego Kylo Ren helmet. And joining that helmet is also a Jango Fett, which obviously matches in with the theme of the UCS Firespray set. Back to you, Kat. We've got Kylo Ren's command shuttle is coming again, a throwback to the 10-year anniversary of The Force Awakens. And this thing looks absolutely fantastic. Comes with a display stand that allows you to sort of extend the wings. It looks like it's got quite a wide wingspan, to be fair. So yeah, a very, very awesome set. Comes with a nameplate as well. We're also obviously, Cassian Andor's around the corner. Andor Season 2 starting very soon. Looks like we are getting a U-Wing playset from Andor. And then we're going to dive into the brickheads. Everybody loves brickheads. So fun, so customizable. And looks like we are getting a Luke Skywalker as a rebel pilot. And then it also looks like we are getting a collection set, which is the heroes and villains of Star Wars Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, which is, of course, hits its 25th anniversary, I believe. 20th anniversary, sorry. This year. So I know you guys love the Lego probably a lot more than me. Let's just go to you first, Kat. Which sets have sort of really turned your eye? And sort of which sets are you so glad are there?
I think you've already hit upon it when you said about 75415 Kylo Ren's helmet. It's not quite as sleek as I was expecting it to look, but it does look pretty decent, I've got to admit. The helmets, they range from being quite textured to like really sleek. Like I have the TIE Fighter pilot helmet, which looks so sleek it could be a movie prop. But no, I do like that one. I do like 7546 Kylo Ren's command shuttle. I think it's a great addition to the Star Wars Starfighter collection. Oh, that price tag hurts, considering it is just only over 350 pieces. So I think that one I will wait for a sale. But it is so great to see some sequel trilogy sets because it has been a while since we've had anything in the Lego Star Wars theme that's been based on the sequel trilogy. And another one that has completely blown me away is 40796 Revenge of Sith Heroes and Villains. Absolutely adore the lineup. We've got Anakin, we've got Padme, Mace Windu, Emperor Palpatine, and probably the cutest General Grievous you're ever going to see. Honestly, they've done such a great job at making him look so cute and blocky. He doesn't even look like a villain. I think that is definitely going to be something I will pick up immediately.
Yeah, he does look really cute. He's almost, I like to think of it as like, the Marshmallow Man in Ghostbusters, how he's like evil, but he still looks so cute. Like, yeah, they've made this General Grievous really toy-like and adorable. I also love the fact that it looks like the Anakin, you can change the eyes from normal eyes to Sith eyes. So Anakin, I suppose, is a hero and a villain within this set, which is pretty cool. And I
Yeah,
also like
that is a really great feature.
And I love the fact that maybe we didn't go Obi-Wan Kenobi, we've put Mace Windu in there, which I think is quite cool to have Mace in there. Jason, I know you're probably most excited for, as I said, the UCS chopper, but I think me and Kat were talking offline before we went live. Just this wave itself is probably one of the strongest waves Lego's released in a while, Star Wars wise. So tell us why you love the chopper, but also tell us what you think about the rest of the wave.
Yeah, I have to admit, I completely agree with you there. For me, Chopper looks absolutely awesome. As everyone knows, I am a huge Rebels fan, but I'm also a huge fan of Chopper. Partly because obviously he's voiced by the great Dave Filoni. So yeah, this set really does appeal to me, and I may have to try and acquire it at some point over the next year. But as you say, this wave, the UCS Slave One is awesome. I like what they've done with the minifigures of Jango and Boba. I like the detail. It just looks like a really cool display piece. They've really gone out with the gifts with purchases for May the 4th as well. I think that set alone is going to be a huge one. The Camino training facility. It's just going to be hugely popular with people. One, because it's a small part of the franchise, but it's also quite a big part of the story of the clones. Seeing them in their training area. So yeah, I think that's going to be a really popular one. And obviously the key ring. I think last year they brought out the key ring that you could purchase, which I managed to get a hold of, and that was absolutely beautiful. And this one looks really good, and I believe the actual um, picture in the center sort of swivels, so it can move around and everything. So that again looks like a really cool piece. The Star Wars logo, I have to admit, the first time I saw it, I thought, not sure, bit of a gimmicky thing. Do you really need it? The more I look at it, I think actually that's a really, really cool display piece, and yeah, I really like that. So yeah, the Kylo Ren helmet. I'm not a huge fan of Kylo Ren, but I think it does look awesome. And I think they've done a really good job on the intricacy. The Jango Fett helmet again, that looks pretty cool. Slightly different to no, I don't know. Obviously, it's very similar to the Boba. A little bit different, a few little different bits there. Would be one because I've got the Boba, so I'd be quite tempted to get the Django one. That command ship, yeah, command shuttle really, really does look good. Looks good as a display piece. And the U wing for me, that is a really cool looking kit. And also you get K2SO, which I think is cool. But the thing that really got me is all of those brick heads because I've got a lot of brick heads. Um, and in fact, my main purchase up at Celebration was the set of the Endor brickheads that they did, which I absolutely adored making. But I think they've really gone out with this one for Luke Skywalker, and I think that looks really awesome. So I will definitely try and get that. And the villains, uh, just alone, the General Grievous gets me. So having a Mace Window in there is brilliant. The Padme, I'm not so sure about that one. A little bit, take it or leave it. Again, Anakin, as you said, what they've done with the changing of the eyes, so it can be Anakin or Darth Vader. When he becomes Darth Vader. I think they're really, really, as you say, probably the strongest wave they've brought out for a long time. And some kits there that I think would just look amazing as display pieces. And that's Lego's becoming more and more of a display thing for adults to enjoy. And yeah, I think that's great. And I just wish my bank balance had let me buy more.
You'll have to rob a bank, I think. But before you rob a bank, I can't believe you've just said on air, when we have Kat herself on air with us, that you're not a big fan of Kylo Ren. I'm surprised Kat is not on the way to your hometown now to get you, buddy. So you're very brave.
Um,
Very
Who
brave.
says I'm not?
Kat and I have known each other for long enough that she knows I'm not a huge fan of Kylo. It's been a running joke, but I
She's on the
respect
way.
that he is
She's on the
her.
way to get you. She's on hands free. I heard you recording on hands free on the way down.
I
Absolutely,
forgot
the
she
power
could.
of Bluetooth.
I forgot you could drive now as well, Kat.
Very dangerous. Very dangerous now. She's on the way to get you.
Oh dear.
Obviously, absolutely fantastic wave of Lego sets. 9 sets there that are all pretty unique in a way. We've got helmets, we've got brickheads, we've got a Star Wars sign. We've got a UCS set as a spaceship. We've got a UCS droid. We've got a player set there with a Camino set. And to top it all off, in addition to the 9 new Lego Star Wars sets coming on May the 4th, plus the various gifts with purchases available to celebrate the annual Star Wars holiday, select Lego stores will also offer a chance to build Grogu as part of a make and take event. So basically, you're able to go into stores on May the 4th, or around then, I suppose, whichever your local Lego store is. They'll probably have signs up and maybe ask them what the details are. But essentially, yeah, you'll be able to, during this event, you can go in, you can build, and then bring home your very own small Lego Star Wars model of Grogu in the hover pram. And, the set looks pretty cool. It's got big, cute eyes. It's a really cute design, I think. Definitely going to be hit with the kids. If the kids are going into the Lego store, I think they'll be wanting to build this and then take it home. And I think it's a great way to get people involved with Star Wars, as well as giving away a nice exclusive that people are building themselves, I suppose, and a freebie. Kat, I don't know if you've seen many of the, not so much the free gifts, but more sort of the build your own free gifts and take them home. But I think this is fantastic. Well, I don't know what your thoughts are on it.
Oh yeah, the designs that they do every May 4th for the little make and take always really impress me, because they're a little bit like the builds that you get in the advent calendars, in the sense that they are really trying to capture a lot within quite a small scale. So it's quick to build, easy to build, and they always do such a great job in creating things that are recognizable and just capture the essence of Star Wars in a small, cute way. Grogu looks great. He has the big ears. He's got the big eyes. You can tell it's Grogu straight away, and it's just adding to the representation of this wave, because we literally have something for everyone. We have prequel trilogy, we've got original trilogy, sequel trilogy, and by providing a little Grogu make and take, you've also got the Mandalorian. There is literally something for everyone.
Jason, are you going to be looking to take part in the make and take event and grab yourself a Grogu?
I think I'm possibly going to be busy on May the 4th. I've got a few things that I could do with in fact, there's so many things that I should be doing on May the 4th. It's unbelievable. Yeah, sadly, I don't think I'll get a chance to pop the Bristol, which is probably my nearest one. Although I would love to. But no, I don't think I'll get a chance to do it this year. But I'm sure I will be doing something very Star Warsy on May the 4th.
Awesome stuff. Obviously, availability varies by store and country, but if you check out the Lego store locator on the website, they'll tell you which stores are featuring the offer close to you. Staying on May the 4th, I suppose, Disney Store are also having some exclusive May the 4th merchandise coming, and some of it they've previewed most recently items from the Empire Strikes Back 45th anniversary collection. So that is due to drop on May the 4th. In the morning, obviously here in the UK, we only have one store, I believe, on the mainland, which is in London. But obviously it will be online. But the preview features all new apparel, accessories, and collectibles, featuring concept art inspired by the film, highlighting key characters and moments, as well as a special celebratory logo for the anniversary. I think one of the things that looks fantastic to me is there's an Empire Strikes Back Spirit jersey, which I don't own a Spirit jersey, mainly because my wife doesn't let us buy them, but I love the idea of Spirit jerseys, and I might have to get this one. It looks awesome. There's also some traditional t-shirts. There's an awesome Empire Strikes Back mug, which is sort of like the Battle of Hoth, sort of engraved in this giant mug, which looks fantastic. And there is also a Princess Leia and R2-D2. I don't know if it's a Barbie doll set or just a limited edition doll, but it looks absolutely fantastic, and it sort of comes in a sort of a Echo Base themed box, which is really cool. And there's also, probably for you, Jason, I think you look awesome in it, there is a Tauntaun cap by the looks of it. So I don't know if you've seen the picture, but definitely have a look. It looks absolutely wild. We'll go to you, Kat. Have you seen much of this Empire Strikes Back 45th anniversary drop for May the 4th? And is there anything that you want to get your hands on?
I have seen a few of the items. I've been really taken by the beautiful graphic designs they've done for the t-shirts and the jumpers, sort of inspired by the posters from Revenge of the Sith, but really in this bold, dramatic style. They look really good. But I mean, with Disney Store, honestly, they never do a bad item. Everything is always so curated, and I love the designs. That layer figure, beautiful. Oh, I have the Ray figure from Disney Store, and they are such good quality that it's almost as good as getting a Hot Toys figure for way less than a Hot Toys figure. So they are always great things to grab as collectibles.
They certainly are. I think for me, I really want that mug, and I really want that Spirit jersey, which looks like the art is like Ralph McQuarrie teaser art, concept art. Sorry for the Empire Strikes Back. Jason, have you seen the collection? And when are we going to see you in the Tauntaun hat?
I think I briefly saw it somewhere, and I've been frantically trying to find where I saw it. But I have seen the Tauntaun hat, and I have to admit, yeah, it does look pretty cool. Um, I, I've got into collecting Star Wars caps now, which is a bit of a weird one for me because I don't normally wear caps. But yeah, I saw them, and I really did like that one. So yeah, it's a possibility.
We're gonna play a game now, right? Who can do the best Tauntaun impression? Who can make the best Tauntaun noise? I'll go first, okay? How good was that? Was that awful or was it good?
It was
I made a
something.
bit.
It was just okay. Well,
I,
you can go next, Kat. If that was just okay, you can do your Tauntaun now.
Okay.
That was a lot better than mine. I'll give you that. I'll take my hat off to you, Jason. You're up next.
I don't know how to do this.
Oh my gosh, you win.
Jason wins. Right.
I've just found the pictures, and yeah, that does look. I might buy it for Jess to wear.
You should make Jess do the Tauntaun noise before you buy for her, I think.
Yeah.
But I think everyone's turned the podcast off now because they're sick of Tauntaun noises, maybe. So we will move swiftly on to some Star Wars Celebration news in terms of some announcements this week. So StarWars.com shared a first look at the upcoming turn-based tactics game called Star Wars Zero Company, which is developed by Bit Reactor in collaboration with Respawn Entertainment and Lucasfilm Games, putting you in command during the Clone Wars. So this, I didn't know this game was a thing. I think the past few celebrations they've done this where there's a game that like they just sort of unveil at the convention, and then this is another one where they've announced it the week before, but you know it's going to be unveiled at Star Wars Celebration. So essentially, what it's saying is recruit an unconventional team of operatives and deploy them on missions unlike any other in the galaxy far, far away in Star Wars Zero Company. The newly announced single-player turn-based tactics game will share the first details about the game currently in development with attendees at Star Wars Celebration Japan. And they've also put a first look of the characters, like a few members of the elite squad under your command. So it looks like there's like a two tubes Jedi there. There's a clone, there's a droid or 2-unit droid, there's a Mandalorian. There's some sort of character there who, I don't know if he's some sort of smuggler or a pirate. He looks quite handsome, maybe a cross between Han Solo and Cassian Andor mixed together. But yeah, Kat, we'll go to you. What's your thoughts on Star Wars Zero Company? And what's your thoughts on it being that sort of a last minute addition to Star Wars Celebration Japan?
Well, it might have just been announced, but I am already super excited for this game because turn-based video games are some of my favorites. They're not everybody's favorite. I get that turn-based doesn't appeal to everybody. Some people much just prefer like the action adventure of things like Jedi Survivor and just going straight into the story. But turn-based combat is very special because it allows you to play with a group of characters, and everybody has unique skills that you will be using against enemies. And who goes first in combat will depend on like sort of generative roles of whoever is perhaps higher levels. Or I mean, in D&D is a dice, and it's whoever gets the highest score. In games, it's a bit more like who has the highest skill level against each other. But when you were mentioning like each of the different characters, that immediately made me think that every character is going to have special abilities, and they're almost like their own classes to play as in turn-based tactics. Because we have got definitely some kind of clone commander, there's a force user with a lightsaber, there's a droid. All of those characters are going to have unique skills that you can deploy at different times during combat. And that just sounds like the most amazing combination for a Star Wars game. We've had so many RPGs within the IP. They've basically mastered how to do lightsaber combat now and controlling a Jedi character. But this is totally new. And I'm just so excited for it because I have logged up over 100 hours in Baldur's Gate 3, which is turn-based combat itself. And it's just making me think about what turn-based combat would look like in Star Wars with different Star Wars characters, with different and unique abilities. So yeah, I want more information about it now.
Yeah, I think what gets me excited is that obviously these characters that throws in the picture are sort of original characters, which is awesome, and they all look really cool. But I suppose down the line they can introduce legacy characters, and there's so many that the sort of the possibilities could be endless as to sort of expand this game, which would be absolutely wonderful. Jason, I know you're not the biggest gamer, but have you seen the announcement of Star Wars Zero Company, and sort of what's your thoughts on the type of game that it is? It's a bit different from the games we've had the past few years.
Yeah, I have to admit, I saw the announcement of this and I thought, actually, this could be the sort of game that I could quite get interested in. Because obviously I like the tactical sort of games, and like obviously Star Wars Unlimited, that sort of thing. So again, with this being tactic based and putting all your um, best assets in the right place at the right time, yeah, I might have a look at this.
Well, if you do, you have to let us know what it is like. Moving on, again, it's game based, and that is that at Star Wars Celebration Japan, they've just announced that Star Wars Outlaws: A Pirate's Fortune, which is A Pirate's Fortune is the first DLC, I believe, to come out for Star Wars Outlaws, will have its world premiere on Friday, April 18th at Star Wars Celebration Japan. So what they are saying is that those attending next week's Star Wars Celebration Japan will be the first to get a look at Star Wars Outlaws: A Pirate's Fortune, the second story pack DLC. So it's the second DLC, so I stand corrected, which will get its world premiere on Friday, April 18th. What they've said is tune in to get a glimpse of what's next for Star Wars Outlaws. Now, I've not played Outlaws. I've spoken to people who have. I know our friend Ian has played Outlaws and he loved it. Jason, will stick with you. So, what's your thoughts on, I suppose, choosing Star Wars Celebration to sort of to premiere this second story pack DLC for the game? And what's your thoughts on sort of on DLCs, like on providing extra stories later after the game's released to sort of, I mean, A, make more money, but also B, it gives players a new story to play in a game that they might love.
Yeah, obviously, Celebration is a perfect place to announce this sort of thing because you've got a captive audience who all love the IP, and that's what they're aiming at. Obviously, again, I haven't played Outlaws. It does interest me, and I keep thinking, or maybe I ought to, and adding extra bits to it. I think why not? The thing is, if people love the game and you can add to it so that they can go back and enjoy it, but with a different outlook, that's a great idea. Why not do it? I believe this is also there was a lot of excitement that Jim Cummings had said, and I think we discussed it. That he'd done some motion capture for Hondo, and I believe this is what that motion capture was for. So I believe my favourite pirate is actually going to be appearing in Outlaws.
I hope so, and I agree with you there. I think my only worry is that I feel you have to create the original game has to be worthy of its price and be playable enough, and then the DLC needs to be worthy of its extra cost. I think what you don't want is sort of half a game and then paying more for extra content, which from the people who've played Star Wars Outlaws, that's not the case. It is a great game. It was great from people who played it who I've spoken to, and it did fulfill them. Kat, obviously, we were speaking before we went live, and before we dive into your thoughts on Star Wars Outlaws, I believe on the PlayStation 5 store, Star Wars Outlaws and the first DLC are currently on sale. Is that right?
That is correct. So Star Wars Outlaws, the deluxe version, as well as the gold edition, are both 50% off. So you can have the deluxe version right now for £44.99, which is a steal for a game of that size. And the first DLC is down to £7.99. So you can have all of the current story for less than £60 right now, which is really good for any PS5 game. And that spring sale is happening until the end of this month.
That is awesome. Star Wars Outlaws is obviously also available on Xbox Series X and S and on PC. And it's just been announced Star Wars Outlaws is coming later in 2025 on Nintendo Switch 2. So that is pretty cool. But Kat, let's dive in. I know you haven't played Outlaws, but I know it's something you probably would like to dive into. Obviously, what's your thoughts on the game? Excited to maybe play it and excited that it's been expanded upon? And what's your thoughts on them choosing Star Wars Celebration to sort of premiere this next story pack?
Oh, absolutely. Star Wars Outlaws is definitely a game I want to play. The only reason I didn't grab it straight at release is because I was fully in my Baldur's Gate 3 era, and I was too busy romancing Astarion, which is what distracted me. But Star Wars Outlaws, it's the first open world Star Wars game, and it's just so expansive, so amazing to look at. I have seen gameplay of people playing it, and the graphics are just incredible. But I definitely appreciate DLCs. I think there can be sometimes a fine line between how much content you can add for free and then how much content you can give to players by asking them to pay extra. But at the end of the day, I would much rather the developers put a price tag on the DLC to ensure that everybody making the game is paid fairly. And I would support that entirely. So when it comes to paid DLCs, yes, I will absolutely get one if it is adding characters and especially if it's adding story, which a lot of DLCs will just give you like items, skins, collectibles for the game. But when it's actually adding new levels, new story, that makes it so much more, fair value because it's just giving the player extra. It's making you play the game for longer, which is what you want to do. You want to be racking up 70 to 100 hours in any video game of this size. But as soon as I get extra storage for my PS5, I am definitely going to get Star Wars Outlaws.
Yes, I think you definitely need some extra hard drive space by the sounds of it to certainly enjoy 100 hours of Star Wars Outlaws. So you need to get on that. Moving on to our next topic, the British Film Institute, that is the BFI for short, has announced that its second Film on Film Festival, which celebrates the medium of print film itself, will be headlined by a screening of the original cut of Star Wars, which is, of course, as we know it now, Star Wars Episode 4, A New Hope, on June the 12th. And it'll be the first time it has been screened publicly for decades. So, a few details here. So, the festival will be headlined by the first public screening of one of a handful of remaining dye transfer IB Technicolor prints made of Star Wars' original release in the UK, produced for the first British release in December 1977, and since kept for preservation in the Institute's National Film Archive. So, that's music to my ears, because even within a few years of Star Wars coming out, like, changes were being made. George was tinkering with it. And that's fine, you know. And even when Disney Plus came on and we got New Hope on there, even that was a different version of what had just been released on Blu-ray. But it's good to hear that, you know, essentially the BFI are claiming it is the original cut. And my thought was, how could it be the original cut when a lot of them got changed? But obviously this is one that they've had since December 1977, and they've had it in their archive for preservation, which to me says yes, it is exactly what they say on the tin, and it is an original cut, which is absolutely fantastic. I'm not quite sure, sort of, is it showing once or is it showing a few times? I believe tickets for the film festival, they start releasing from May the 6th, ahead of the festival beginning on June the 12th. I'll have to do a bit more digging to find out, sort of, is it one showing or is it a couple of showings? It is something I will be very much interested in going to see, I think. Any chance to see Star Wars on the big screen is always awesome, but I think getting a chance to see an original sort of 35mm print of Star Wars is pretty cool. Kat, let's go to you. Sort of, what's your thoughts, I suppose, on the BFI choosing Star Wars, its original release, to sort of headline this festival? And sort of, what's your thoughts on giving some people the opportunity to maybe watch this cut in cinemas that they've never had before?
I think it just shows the importance of Star Wars as storytelling for the BFI to have chosen it as their headliner film, because while Star Wars is an amazing sci-fi story, it also deals with morality and the hero's journey and this grey area between what makes a hero, what makes a villain, and these are themes we can resonate with no matter whether it's in real life or if it's in a galaxy far, far away. So I think it makes a lot of sense to have chosen it, because it's such a relatable story and such an inspiring one as well. And it's really interesting to know that these copies actually still exist, because George Lucas tweaked Star Wars: A New Hope almost immediately after release, and things got cut, things got added, things got changed. We obviously know that the CGI has been changed over the years, and that's you can see it when you watch it on HD on Disney Plus. The CGI looks really good because it's been updated over the years. But this is actually the cut where Han shoots first, so that's going to make a lot of fans happy.
Yeah, I think it will. I'm hoping to get a chance to watch it. To be honest, I think it'll be, again, any excuse to watch Star Wars in a theatre, you know, with great sound and great picture, is a great opportunity. But I think, again, it's something that maybe we don't necessarily have access to. I've got the DVD editions from, I don't know if it was the 2006 DVD release, where they released sort of 4, 5, and 6 on their own, and it came with like a second disc that had original, and I'm doing that in sort of in hand brackets there, versions of the movies. I don't know how original they were, but it's like pre special edition release, but maybe still tinkered with. So even watching those, you know, you don't know if it's actually original. But like I said, with this release, it is. Jason, what's your thoughts? Again, like, great news, I suppose, that the BFI are headlining the Film on Film Festival with Star Wars. And sort of, are you going to try and watch it? And what's your thoughts on us getting an original cut? And it has been preserved, which is absolutely wonderful.
Yeah, I'd really like to go and see this, because I find it intriguing as to how films change, how directors tinker, and I would love to see an original cut and to compare it in my mind as to what I've seen over the years. So yeah, no, I would if I can get to the BFI to see it, I would definitely be interested in doing that. Maybe we can do it as a Star Wars reunion instead of celebration.
Definitely, I'm up for that. Let's get the details and see if we can get down there. It'd be like a Max and Paddy road trip.
Yeah.
I think for me, obviously, what Kat was saying about Star Wars is like not only did Star Wars sort of redefine film technology and how to make movies. I think the story itself is so powerful. So I think it is a great choice to headline this festival. As you know, it stood the test of time. Star Wars has never been bigger. You could say, as it's like I said, Empire Strikes Back turns 45 this year. So A New Hope's nearing 50. And it's still sort of in the center of the universe for a lot of people. Brand new theme parks are being built this decade that are all to do with Star Wars. It's a crazy time. New Star Wars movie is coming out in May of 2026. So, Star Wars is alive and well and sort of transcends with time, but it all comes back to this original movie. And I think it's a great film to headline. I hopefully hope that we do get to watch it. But I think, it's a testament not just George Lucas's ideological mind when it comes to sort of pushing the boat of filmmaking, but also, the story and how powerful that is and how important the story is, the hero's journey. It's just a great choice to headline this festival. And that is the end of our main talking points. Although, Kat, I did know that you did highlight to me a brand new Hoth game. So I don't know if you want to take the reins and tell us all about it.
Absolutely, I'd love to. So it literally has just been announced hours ago from Days of Wonder, they're the publisher, that there is a new Star Wars board game coming called Battle of Hoth. Not to be confused with the very good Lego Star Wars game, also called Battle of Hoth. That's aside. And it's an upcoming strategy board game that follows the commands and colors rules that Days of Wonder pioneered with their World War II inspired board game Memoir 44. So, although it is a tactical based game, it's relatively easy to learn. This is not complicated combat and strategy board game that you have to learn. I've seen the commands and colors being used. You can pick it up even online from YouTube, and that was really great. So basically, players take turns choosing command cards every turn to activate units and decide how to move them to attack. And this is across 17 scenarios included in the box, which is a lot of gameplay. So there are 17 scenarios, and there's also going to be 2 bonus scenarios that can be turned into campaigns so that what happens in one scenario impacts your gameplay in the next one. And there's also going to be 2 leader cards that can be used to provide support from 6 iconic Star Wars characters. Those characters haven't been revealed, but considering this is the Battle of Hoth, I would expect characters such as Han Solo, Leia Organa, and Luke Skywalker. And you will be able to activate AT-ATs. That has been revealed in the photos that were shown. So it's a really nice looking board game and something quite refreshing for the Star Wars board gaming universe, because most of it has been tabletop gaming, so miniatures, painting, heavy, massive rule booklets to learn, whereas this is much more a board game. And it's published by Days of Wonder, who are the minds behind Memoir 44, Heat, and one of my personal favourites, Ticket to Ride. So they've got a lot of history and a lot of renown for making really good board games. So this is definitely one that I will be keeping an eye on because it just looks super fun, and I think this is going to be a hidden gem that is going to surprise people.
It looks, from the pictures you shared, it does look absolutely fantastic. Jason, are you a fan of Star Wars board games, and would you pick this one up?
It's not something I've really ever had a go at before, but I have to admit it sounds really intriguing. And could be a bit of fun. sit around with a few mates, a few beers, and play a bit of Star Wars.
It certainly looks like one of those type of games that you can have a lot of fun with. Kat, obviously last week me and Jason broke down the breaking news of Star Wars Tales of the Underworld, the brand new Star Wars animated collection of shorts coming to Disney Plus on May the 4th. Obviously, I know you're a big fan of certainly one of the characters who is going to be taking the lead in the series. So I don't know if you want to share with me and Jason and the listeners just your thoughts on, the third series in this Tales concept, and how excited are you that it's Tales of the Underworld, and how excited are you that we're getting certain characters in it?
Oh my gosh, I am so happy we're getting more Stars Ventress. Considering I absolutely hated her initially in the Clone Wars series, honestly, I absolutely adore her character now. Ever since reading Dark Disciple and her journey with Quinlan Voss, I have just grown into a massive Asajj Ventress fan. So when she cameoed in the Bad Batch, I was thrilled that she is back, and I am just as thrilled that she is back in Tales of the Underworld. It looks really, it looks really amazing, as they are all of the Tales of collection have just offered such great perspectives in different parts of the galaxy. And the fact that we're getting more Cad Bane, that is also really amazing. Two characters who couldn't be more different. So, I mean, the trailer looked explosive, so much action, so much going on. Yeah, I'm going to devour these straight away.
It's going to be absolutely awesome. And to be fair, I'm excited to, hopefully we'll review it together. I'm excited to see how excited you get of sort of what we see as Sarge Ventress go through. One last news topic before we wrap things up with a bit of housekeeping, and that is to save the date for the 2nd and 3rd of August. Get yourselves down to the Corn Exchange in Dorchester. It is, of course, Dorchester Strikes Back 2025, or DSP2 for those in the know. Obviously, one man who is heavily involved in all things Dorchester Strikes Back is our very own Mr. Hondo himself, Jason. Jason, it's out the bag. The dates are confirmed. How excited are you? And just talk us through some of the things we can maybe expect, if you're allowed to talk about them yet, I suppose.
I think I can tease a few bits. Yeah, obviously, this we've been planning this pretty much since the very last event. Anyone who listens to this will know the story. Anyone who hasn't, I'm just going to quickly tell you. So, two people met in a shop, discussed Star Wars, and decided to try and put an event together. One of the people was the person who owned the shop, and the other one was me. Ben and I put our heads together, got a group of people together, put a load of messages out on Facebook, and last year we set up a stage, and we had a lot of fun. And we estimated we had between 800 and 900 people turned up that day. It was crazy and it was fun. And we said, okay, we want to do it again. We want to see if we can make it bigger, and we want to see if we can make it better. So one of our big concerns is good old British weather. We can't rely on it. So we found an indoor venue not far from where we were last year, the Corn Exchange. I visited there probably about a month ago, had a look round, um, plotted what we're going to do. We're also hopefully going to be not just in the Corn Exchange, but around the town and the surrounding area. And we're going to sort of try and bring Star Wars to Dorchester. So we've got hopefully returning members of the UK garrison, and we're hoping a few more are going to join us this year. We've got members of the Mando Mercs. We know that there's quite a few more of them joining us this year, which is great. And they've got some really fun ideas. We're also hoping to get some people there from other groups, which we'll hopefully announce once I've got those firmed up. We're hoping to be able to, at least on the Saturday, do some lightsaber training. So you'll be able to come along and learn about lightsaber dueling. So that's really cool. And we've got myself and Steve from Jedi News will definitely be returning to host. And we're pretty much guaranteed, I think it's safe to say, that you'll be travelling down and joining us as well, Pete. And we're also hoping that Mr. Burns, James Burns from Jedi News, will also be joining us. So the four of us will be very busy doing bits and pieces. James is very much coming down, hopefully, to be able to give us some knowledge that he's had over the long time that he's been doing Star Wars, and in particular Jedi News. So James is a fountain of Star Wars knowledge, and I'm looking forward to having chats with him and introducing him to the people that turn up down at Dorchester. We're also hoping, I've got to confirm details with Jez, but we're hoping that Generation Skywalker might be able to join us. So we're going to have, hopefully, plenty over the 2 days of chat and stuff going on in the Corn Exchange, but also interactive Star Wars stuff, and that's what we want to do. But also, we want people to get in touch with us, and there is a Dorchester Strikes Back webpage where you can contact us. We're looking for people that do Star Wars craft, Star Wars art, who might want to come along for the 2 days. And anything that, Star Wars related that we can fill a room with, and just basically make a weekend of Star Wars fun. Make it our own little Star Wars celebration without all the big screens and everything. But yeah, so it's going to be a lot of fun. There's still a lot of planning going on. We're still working on different things. We're hoping to have a lot of props from the different groups on display. And over the next couple of months, I've got lots of emails to send back and forth, and hopefully get lots of people involved. But as I say, it's very much, if you are interested in getting involved, please contact us through the Dorchester Strikes Back website, or obviously I'm contactable on Blue Sky, as I've discussed, at Hondo Ling. And we'll hopefully be able to come up with lots of Star Wars fun to build into it.
It certainly is going to be fun. And speaking of fun, Kat, will go over to you to wrap things up. Any new Star Wars merch that came into your possession lately?
I may have got that Dagon Gera Black Series figure that I mentioned just a few episodes ago, and he is displayed by my PS5 with my matching Cal Kestis Black Series figure. And honestly, Hasbro, great job. I still complain about the lack of a Ben Solo figure, but they have done an amazing job of sculpting Dagon and painting his Orcanian species, because he's really pale, but he's got like these lines on his skin because he is humanoid. He is an alien, and it just looks amazing. So, well, I may have also got the Star Wars Rivals new booster pack for Jump to Lightspeed, which I have yet to go through to find out what I have in the decks, but I do have the Han Solo and Boba Fett promo cards in there. So I have treated myself a little.
Hey, you have to. Life's hard enough, so you do need to treat yourself with Star Wars merch. Jason, I know you're a big fan of Star Wars Unlimited as well. Have you got any new Star Wars Unlimited lately?
Yeah, I did actually pick up a hyperspace pack the other day. Sorry.
What's the difference between
Not
hyperspace and jump light speed?
Well, sorry, not hyperspace, carbonite. the Carbonite cards are the ones where you're guaranteed to get some rather special cards in. They're a lot more expensive, but I did get. Yeah, that's where I'm getting confused. I got the Hyperspace, I think it is Darth Vader card, which is really cool. And I'm trying to find it. I got the Gold Leader Hyperspace card, which was really, really good. And there was one other that was really no, it's not in this pack. But yeah, the Hyperspace, the Carbonite, sorry, you get they're the higher quality. They're the special edition cards, and you're guaranteed because of the slightly higher price pay. Yeah, the slightly higher price, you're guaranteed to get more than you would in the standard booster packs. I also got the pre-release set that Kat mentioned came through in the post. Thank you very much, Mr. Burns. I opened mine, and my very first booster pack, I got Grand Admiral Thrawn. So I was really pleased with that. So I'm looking forward to having a go. I've also got both of the like showcase sets that they've done of Han Solo and Boba Fett. Um, so I've got those pre-done decks. So if I want to, I can have a play at jump straight into Lightspeed and have a go with that. But yeah, they're really cool. But as well as that, Jedi News and James kindly organised some more goodies for me from Roosevelt's, and I was lucky enough to receive the Chopper shirt, polo shirt, and the Chopper baseball cap. And I'm just trying to find the details because there is a special name for what they call the range. The latest range, although it's sort of been superseded because they've just literally brought out the celebration Roosevelt shirts, which I've just been looking at, where they've got a really cool. They've got one polo shirt there, which is not polo shirt. It's one of their um, like short sleeve shirts, which is I know, and you've got the Han Solo in carbonite on there, which looks really cool. There's also a Chewbacca-san, so it's a rather Japanese-looking version of Chewbacca, which looks awesome as well. And their event exclusives, they've got a Sith Samurai jacket, which looks awesome. I wish I could get that, and also the Star Wars hat. But the Chopper range came from their latest Power of the Force collection, which is a beautiful collection. The Chopper shirt I'm really taken with, and I'm looking forward to putting that on along with the baseball cap. But there was also a that's it. It's Chop and Loff is the shirt. Then you've got Saber Schematics, which is obviously a lightsaber schematic T-shirt, which also looks really awesome. Wired for Battle, the BB-8, which is a polo, Oh My, which is obviously C-3PO polo, and then you've got an R2 Army polo, and I think, yeah, that's, oh, and they've done a Saber Schematic shirt, I think. Yes, they have, which is, yeah, that's also awesome. So Roosevelt's have got some really, really awesome shirts out at the moment. So I was really, really pleased to receive my Chopper one, which I'm going to wear with pride.
No, you guys have certainly acquired some awesome bounties. I haven't purchased any merch as such since last week, but I did get myself my Revenge of the Sith 20th anniversary tickets booked. I'm watching it at the Odeon on Friday, April 25th. Now, tickets have gone on sale. Now, when they first went on sale at my audience, there was only 2 screenings for the Friday. Those screenings have now vanished from the website, so I'm assuming they're sold out. And it looks like it's been put on like all day Saturday, all day Sunday, and Monday. So people are biting them. People are getting tickets to see Revenge of the Sith. So looks like your local cinema should be showing them. Sadly, here in the UK, we do not get the awesome popcorn bucket and cups. But I do know that in America, it looks like you can get those. So if you are, enjoy them. I think that brings an end to everything certainly I want to discuss Star Wars wise. And sort of perfect time to come to an end just as Star Wars Celebration starts tomorrow. And we'll get a whole load of new Star Wars news to talk about. Kat, before we wrap it up, is there anything you want to discuss and where can the people find you on social media?
There's been so much to talk about today, and it has been a great time. You can find me at Cat Kylo on Twitter, where I'm always happy to talk Star Wars, Kylo Ren, and anything Lego related.
And Jason, anything you want to talk about before we wrap things up, and where can the people find you on the good old socials?
No, it's I think we've pretty much covered everything. As always, enjoy Star Wars and all the fun that goes with it. And I am available at Hondo Link.
That brings us to the end of the show. It is another happy landing, as Kat always says after we wrap the show. But I think it's a lovely sign off, so I'm going to use it right there. I stole it. May the force be with you all. And remember, always tell that to Kanja Club.